This is Dakota News Now, your first alert station.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Allen.
I'm Andrea Anderson. The state of South Dakota is suing the NCAA, the nation's top governing body for college athletics.
Attorney General Marty Jackley filing a complaint in Brookings County Circuit Court on behalf of the South Dakota Board of Regents and both South Dakota State University and the University of South Dakota. John Gaskin sat down with the AG today to discuss why and joins us live now in studio with our top story. John.
Brian, the NCAA reached a nearly $3 billion settlement with schools from the Power Four conferences, the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, and the Big 10. That $3 billion will come from both NCAA reserve money and from all Division I schools. The Power Four schools are to pay 40% of that chunk, while the smaller schools outside of those leagues, like USD and SDSU, well, they'll pay 60%. And that is why the state is suing, because it finds that percentage unfair. That money will go to over 14,000 athletes, mainly from Power Four schools and none that we know of from South Dakota schools who played from 2016 until now. Jackley says those athletes deserve money for their name, image, and likeness, considering how much TV, ticket, and merchandise money schools have raked in from them.
But what I'm not glad to see is the two things that are happening. They're making the smaller schools, SDSU and USD, pay for that, and they're not treating our female student athletes fairly by saying they get less than 10% of those proceeds.
He thinks female athletes should be paid equally. So how will the NCAA get the money from the schools to pay the identified athletes? By decreasing its payout to schools the revenue made from the NCAA's largest TV and ticket moneymaker, the Final Four men's basketball event, a decrease of 20% a year over 10 years. For small schools like SDSU and USD, that's $1 million a year.
And when that shortfall happens, either our student athletes are not going to receive those dollars for scholarships or otherwise, or the South Dakota legislature is going to have to come up with $1 million every year. And I don't think that's fair or right. That's what we're trying to prevent.
What Jackley also finds unfair is that non-Power Four schools like USD and SDSU played no part in the improper conduct that led to this settlement. So why are they supposed to pay more?
The reality is because the bigger schools were on the board of directors and the board of governors that struck this deal. So they took care of themselves.
Jackley says the Board of Regents called this issue to his attention, and that the lawsuit has full support of both university presidents and the governor.
I mean, everybody feels treating the little guy unfairly is wrong, and treating female student athletes wrong and disproportionately is also not going to fly.
So what's next? Jackley says the Brookings County Court has 30 days to file and answer to this lawsuit. There could be a motion to dismiss it or move it to federal court. Meanwhile, just yesterday, a federal judge raised concerns about this $3 billion settlement to athletes. Brian and Andrea?
John Gaskin's with us tonight. John.